Let's talk about that original Nation quickly. So when you get introduced to Crush and Savio and Ron Simmons, what are your initial interactions with them, impressions of them?
Initially, I had already met Savio and Crush because I had done enhancement work. Enhancement work is, you know that guy that you see in the ring before the Stars music plays? I was one of those dudes originally. So I did that my first year in wrestling. So I had met Savio and Crush from that time there. I had never met Ron Simmons up to that point. And full disclosure, Ron Simmons was the idol that got me in wrestling. So to walk into a room to be next to the dude who inspired me to do this was pretty damn was right. How'd you know what I said? So my initial interaction with Ron was just of awe because when you get there, and it's one thing to see Ron Simmons on TV, you have one impression of him. When you see him in front of you, you go, that's a grown-ass man right there. Like in the dictionary, there's a picture of Ron Simmons next to the word man. And he puts grown man next to it. And just, they were just, hey, come in, here's an opportunity for you. They were all welcoming. There's an opportunity for you. Hopefully you make the best of it, and hopefully you'll be around longer than this week's show so we can actually get to know you, because guys come in and out like that. But they were all kind to me. They were easy to take me in, and you know, to this day, Ron Simmons is like not just my friend. He's like my mentor, my pseudo-father. If I want to if I want to paint my room purple, I'll call Ron Simmons up and I'll go, Ron, I'm thinking about painting my room purple. And he'll go, now you know that's some stupid shit, but if you want to paint it purple, it's all right. So I ask him for everything.
So then they decide to split the Nation up. They're going to let Crush and Savio get their own factions, but you're the only one that gets kept with Ron. I'm guessing you were happy to be kept with Ron, and you were happy that that was going to continue in some way.
Absolutely, and I was only kept with Ron because Ron chose me to stay with him. When they broke up the Nation, they wanted to make, we were getting ready to go into what was called the faction warfare era of the WWE. It was like at SummerSlam and then the Royal Rumble that next year. And they were going to break us up because they wanted to put Savio and Crush over here. Savio and his team in Boricua's, Crush and DOA, and they were going to reform the Nation. They had already considered they were going to bring in Godfather and me. It was originally myself, Godfather, and Ron, and then we brought in Mark Henry and then Rocky Maivia. Rocky, you know, the poofy-haired, if you smell that dude. Whatever happened to him?
No idea.
I don't know, man. Okay. Anyway, so when they didn't tell me they were going to keep me until I kind of knew the Nation was breaking up. They didn't tell me they were going to keep me, and I think they did it on purpose because it was in the ring, literally live on TV, I realized I was staying because Ron fires Savio, he fires Crush, he fires Clarence Mason, and in firing Clarence Mason, he's saying, you don't belong here. You're not good enough to be here. You're no longer part of this. And he goes, D-Lo! And I go, damn it. Get the ropes for Clarence. Yes! Get your ass out of here. And so literally live on TV in front of millions of people, I realized I got to keep my job. So the emotions I had on me that moment weren't me wrestling acting. They were me going, oh, I can pay my bills next week.
The next member to join the Nation in January of '98 was Mark Henry.
Yes, sir.
It felt like he kind of needed the Nation, like he needed a break like the Nation to kind of step out of, you know, because he'd come in as the USA guy. He hadn't really done much. Talk about him being put into the Nation, your initial thoughts and impressions.
See, the cool thing about the Nation was you didn't have to be out there alone. And if you made a mistake, no one really knew it because you were surrounded by other guys. And because it was working well with Rocky, Mark didn't really get it. Because Mark is an intelligent individual, Mark was this close to becoming Ahmed Johnson because he came from the outside world and didn't understand how wrestling was. And so luckily Mark he's a student of whatever game he's in, and he listened to Ron. He started quickly learning what wrestling business is all about. So when he got put in the Nation, all Mark did was just be quiet and learn and try to get better. And if he made a mistake, he and I would break down matches afterward, and Ron would break down matches with him, and Mark was just putting it away. And to have him there, you could see a sense of relief on his face, because Mark, every dude who's in wrestling today with a guaranteed contract needs to call Mark Henry up and thank him, because he was the first wrestler with a guaranteed contract. Not Hulk Hogan, not Ric Flair. Mark freaking Henry was the first guaranteed contract in wrestling. So every dude who's making a ton of money now needs to go give Mark royalties for getting him guaranteed contracts. So he had that pressure on him of being on a 10-year, $10 million contract. And he had never wrestled before in his life. And they just throw him out there and go earn us that money back. And he has no clue what to do. So when we got put in the Nation, you could see a sense of relief, because he didn't have to do it all by himself anymore. And then he had a mentor like Ron Simmons who was going to help him, guide him through the potholes. And when Mark was relaxed, that's when he took it in and started getting better and better and better. And it all paid off years later when he did the Hall of Pain, fake retirement. Mark Henry becomes the biggest heel in professional wrestling, and man, that was glorious to see.